Welcome back to our service point. One of the biggest names in rock and pop music, Rod Stewart, has a net worth of about $300 million, which shows how successful his work has been. Over 250 million records have been sold around the world. His wealth and fame, on the other hand, are in line with how complicated and scandalous his personal life is. Rod Stewart's life has had many ups and downs. Besides the stress of his job and fame, he has also had to deal with problems in his personal life, such as unstable relationships and serious health issues, like the surgery he had in February for thyroid cancer. In every stage of his life, there was a careful balance between success and hardship. Rod Stewart is not only a famous musician with hits like Maggie May and Daya Think I'm Sexy, but he is also a live example of how to keep going even when things get hard. Despite personal scandals and surgeries, he has always come back strong, kept making music, and solidified his place in the world's music business. Rod Stewart is both amazing on stage and complicated in his personal life. His wins and struggles have made him an unforgettable legend. Gesundheitsproblem. It shocked everyone in May 2000 when it was announced that the famous British rock singer Rod Stewart had been diagnosed with thyroid cancer. This news shocked everyone in the music business and had a huge impact on his loyal fans. Stewart was quickly sick with a serious illness that put his life and his famous singing career in danger. He was known for his unique, raspy voice and lively stage presence. The singer found out he had a disease during a tumor scan, when the disease was still mild and easy to treat. When they found out he had a growth in his throat, the surgery to remove it became a big worry for both the medical team and Stewart himself. Rod Stewart was lucky to stay alive because he had faith in the surgery's high success rate. He moved quickly after being told he had cancer. Within a month, he had surgery to remove the cancerous thyroid. The thyroid gland had become a major worry because it makes hormones that help keep the metabolism in check. There were, however, even greater risks because the treatment could hurt his vocal cords, which had already been hurt by a benign tumor. This procedure had two sides. It was necessary for his life, but it almost hurt his singing voice, which was the most important part of his musical legacy. During a normal check for tumors, Stewart's cancer was found by accident. Luckily, the early diagnosis allowed him to get care right away, though the road to recovery was still hard. Rod Stewart was scared he would never be able to sing again because he would lose his voice. Still, his bravery in facing his illness was what helped him get better. There was a lot of worry and doubt after the surgery. Stewart had to really work hard to learn how to sing again, which was hard on both a mental and a physical level. He did everything he could to get his voice back through vocal training and intense rehabilitation. Stewart could not sing for 9 months, and his throat still hurt after that. He liked his warmer voice, even though he didn't have his unique, raspy tenor voice anymore. Rod Stewart sang his hit song, I Don't Want to Talk About It, on stage on September 20th, 2015, which was a sign of his recovery and unwavering resolve. Rod Stewart's fight with thyroid cancer changed him, making him more empathetic and inspiring him to do good things for other people. He really cared about the City of Hope Foundation's work to raise money for cancer research, especially for diseases that affect kids. Stewart felt lucky that his cancer was found early during a chance tumor check. He encouraged everyone to get regular health checks to find diseases early. Besides that, he sold a lot of items to help people who were sick. Being diagnosed, going through treatment, and getting better changed his life and work, showing how dedicated he is to both music and the fight against cancer. Stewart's children were worried about his health and wanted him to cut back on his traveling so that he could spend more time with his family and take care of himself. They hoped he would have a peaceful retirement and spend more time with his family, especially now that he has a third grandchild. On February 2019, Stewart talked about beating prostate cancer after a 3-year battle. This was almost 20 years after his fight with thyroid cancer. Other health problems, like soccer injuries that required surgery on his ankles and knees, kept testing him. Stewart stayed true to his music and his friends, though, and in June he played shows in Ireland and the UK. He gave the impression that his July concerts in Edinburgh would be his last rock and roll shows, which meant he was ready to slow down and try new musical styles and interesting personal life. Rod Stewart has a very interesting personal life, just like his music business. Stewart has been in a lot of relationships and been married 3 times. He has 8 children with 5 different women. balancing the challenges of a blended family and public attention. He told Rolling Stone in an honest interview that these events have made him a more gentle and caring partner. He stressed how important it was to not go to bed angry and to keep the lines of communication open. He does this in his marriage to Penny Lancaster, whom he married in February 2007. Stewart says he is a hopeless romantic, and he loves having quiet dinners with Lancaster by candlelight after their kids are asleep. This keeps the spark alive in their strong relationship. Rod Stewart married Alana Hamilton for the first time when he was 34 years old in 1979, and they were married until 1984. The singer, who is almost 80 years old now, said in a recent interview that his father had told him he was too young to get married at that time. It was true, Stewart said. His dad was right. People magazine quoted him as saying, "When I told my dad I was getting married, he said, 'You're too young.' What he said was true. When that happened, I was drinking and going to parties." At the time, Stewart thought he was ready, but things turned out differently. Stewart's partying lifestyle caused some problems in the marriage and caused problems in the family. They were married and had 2 kids together, Kimberly and Sean Stewart. After he and Alana split up, Stewart dated model Kelly Embug for a long time and had a daughter with her called Ruby Stewart. They never got married, but their relationship had a lot of problems and ended after 7 years. In his second marriage, Stewart married beauty Rachel Hunter. They got married in 1990 when he was 45 and she was only 21. Before they split up, they were married for 9 years. An article from the Times said that Rod said, "When I married Rachel, I really thought she was the one, but I was wrong." Even though they were very different ages, they had 2 kids together, Renee and Liam Stewart. This marriage had many ups and downs as well, and after almost 10 years of being apart, it finally ended. Stewart's third wife, Penny Lancaster, whom he married in February 2007, makes him very happy. Both of their boys are named Aiden and Alistair Stewart. After he and Alana split up, Stewart dated model Kelly M. for a long time. Berg, and their daughter, Ruby Stewart, was born. They never got married, but their relationship had a lot of problems and ended after 7 years. In his second marriage, Stewart married beauty Rachel Hunter. They got married in 1990 when he was 45 and she was only 21. Before they split up, they were married for 9 years. An article from the Times said that Rod said, "When I married Rachel, I really thought she was the one, but I was wrong." Even though they were very different ages, they had 2 kids together, Renee and Liam Stewart. This marriage had many ups and downs as well, and in the end, after almost being apart, it ended. Stewart's third wife, Penny Lancaster, whom he married in February 2007, makes him very happy. Both of their boys are named Aiden and Alistair Stewart. Sean has had a lot of court problems. 2.1 event that stands out is when he was arrested in 2007 for beating up a man outside of a party in Los Angeles. Sean was charged with a crime and then went to anger management classes to deal with the problem. In February 2002, he was also given a 90-day jail sentence for assaulting someone outside of a Malibu restaurant. Actor Dean Cain stepped in and called the cops. At Miami International Airport, Sean also did something interesting. He climbed on the baggage carousel and made a disturbance, which got him a fine. Sons of Hollywood and Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew are just 2 of the reality TV shows Sean Stewart has been on. These shows brought out his personal problems and showed how he battled drugs and other issues. Sean Stewart and his father, Rod Stewart, were charged with attacking a hotel security guard in Florida in February 2019. The father and son got into a fight with the security guard over getting into a private event on New Year's Eve. The fight got worse, and Rod Stewart punched the guard in the chest. The media paid a lot of attention to this event, which caused a lot of debate. Accusations of abuse were brought against both the father and the son in court. Rod Stewart leaving his daughter behind. Rod Stewart's life might look great at first glance. There is a sad story about his first daughter, Sarah Streeter, that is hidden from the public eye. Sarah Streeter cried when she saw a picture of Rod Stewart happily introducing his new son, Alistair Wallace. Alistair, Rod and Penny Lancaster's 6th child, seemed to be more important than Sarah, who was born in 1963. Rod Stewart kept Sarah out of his life and never talked about her in public. Even though she was 42, she had only met him a few times. "My dad forgets on purpose how many kids he has," Sarah said. Feeling sad about this, Also, I have a family, but I've never been able to get back together with them. Also, she knew she would never meet her half-brother who was born. Just a few days after Sarah was born, the rock star left her. She didn't find out who her dad was until she was 18. She had been trying to get in touch with Rod ever since and hoped to make things better between them. He told her he didn't want her in his life, which broke her heart. It's okay for anyone to call her one of my children, but Rod once said, I don't like it. As a teenager, Rod Stewart met Susanna Boffey, Sarah's mother, for the first time. For a year, until Susanna was 17 and pregnant, they were in love. Rod said that he wasn't ready to have a child. Someone had to drag Rod Stewart to the hospital when Susanna gave birth. He moaned and cursed himself outside the delivery room. What have I done? He never saw his daughter again after that. No one questioned that Sarah Streeter was Rod Stewart's child because she had his unique eyes and nose. Suzanne tried to raise her daughter on her own for 7 months before she had to give up and put her in a hospice. Evelyn and Gerald Thubron took Sarah in when she was 4 years old. It was the first time she found out that her dad's name was Rod Stewart. I was stunned and refused to believe it. I then chose to find him. Actually, I wish I didn't know who my dad was now. The popular singer and Sarah met for the first time in 1982, set up by a reporter. Alana Hamilton, Rod's wife, and a lawyer showed up. He didn't want to hug her. After that, they saw each other a few times, but Sarah knew she could never really get close to her true father. Sarah's 6 half-siblings were lucky to live a lavish life because they were the children of a famous person worth £100,000,000. Sarah's father needed to be invited to her wedding 3 months before the big day. She did get a bouquet of lilies, a card signed by Rod and Penny, and a £5,000 Harrods gift ticket for her big day, though. Sarah brought her phone with her all day because Rod Stewart's secretary said he would call her on her wedding day. But he never did. The coupon Rod gave her was never used. Sarah and her father last talked to each other in June 2005. She put the call together. Rod Stewart asked her about her family and invited her to meet her brothers at one of his shows in Blenheim Palace, Oxfordshire, England. But because she didn't have a pass, she couldn't go backstage. Rod had already left when the guards saw that she was the boss's daughter and let her in. The darker sides of Rod Stewart's personal life are shown in these stories, which show how complicated and hard it is for him to get along with his family. Even though he has tried to keep in touch with his kids, Sarah Streeter will always be hurt by his silence and the pain he caused her. Rod Stewart's career has been marked by a number of major scandals, mostly involving the songs and performances he has chosen. The song, Do You Think I'm Sexy, from his 1978 record Blondes Have More Fun marked a change in his style of music toward disco. Suddenly, the song was a huge hit, but it also caused a lot of discussion. Many fans and reviewers thought Stewart had given up on his rock and folk roots to follow the latest music trends. His work was losing the honesty and innovation that he had been showing before. Stewart has said in the past that Do You Think I'm Sexy was just an experiment that showed how popular music was at the time. During the conversation, he said that he wanted to try out different types of music and not just stick to one. Stewart also stressed that the song helped him reach a wider audience and be a big commercial hit, even though it caused a lot of trouble. Also, Stewart got a lot of bad press for choosing to act in South Africa during the harsh apartheid era. When people of different races were separated by law, a lot of singers from around the world stopped performing in South Africa at that time to protest the policies of apartheid. Many Stewart fans and human rights groups didn't like that he chose to perform there. They said that his actions supported the apartheid government and went against human rights principles. Stewart made it clear that he did not support racism in this case. Instead, he wanted all of his fans, no matter where they lived, to be able to hear his songs. Stewart also said he had worked hard to make sure that his shows were open to everyone and didn't favor any group. But he said that this choice might not have been the best one and that he understood that the public and human rights groups didn't agree with it and were against it. Important disagreements. Beginnings. Let's go back to the early years of a famous musician, before his multiple marriages, scandals, and complicated love lives. Robert Joseph Stewart was a skilled Scottish builder from Edinburgh, and Elsie Rebecca Gilbart was an Englishwoman from Upper Holloway. Roderick David Stewart was born on October 1, 1945, in North London. He was the youngest of their 5 children. Rod's early years were spent in a simple house on Archway Road, above his father's newsstand. during World War II. Rod was the youngest and was loved and cared for by a family that wasn't rich or poor. He was always very happy when he thought about his youth. Even though Rod didn't do very well in school, he went to Highgate Primary School and William Grimshaw Modern School. His hobbies outside of school showed that he would do well in the future. Rod was interested in model trains at first, but football was his real love. His family thought he was the best football player, and he was a huge Arsenal fan. He finally played center back for the Middlesex schoolboys team. In addition to sports, Rod also loved music. Rod's musical style was greatly affected by the fact that his family was huge Al Jolson fans and would often sing and play his hits at home. Little Richard and Bill Haley and his Comets thrilling shows were his first exposure to rock and roll. When Stewart was 15, he got his first guitar and quickly joined a skiffle group called the Cool Cats, where he learned how to play music better. Stewart first wanted to be a football player and went to trials at Brentford FC in the 1960s, even though he loved music as a child. However, when the club didn't call him back, he had to make a very important choice. He was torn between becoming a professional athlete and a singer. Rod chose music, joking that it would be fun to be able to make music while drunk. These years helped shape the person who would become a music star. Tasks. Did you ever think about what made Rod Stewart go from being a paperboy to a famous musician around the world? He did odd jobs and tried out different kinds of music as a child. Stewart was always looking for ways to learn more about the world around him. He delivered newspapers and worked at the family shop, as well as at Highgate Cemetery and a funeral home in North Finchley. He started taking music seriously for real in 1961 when he went to Denmark Street to try out for record producer Joe Meek. The interview ended quickly, though. Stewart got into the sounds of Ewan MacColl, Woody Guthrie, and Bob Dylan because he liked folk music. He even adopted a beatnik lifestyle and lived for a short time on a houseboat in Shoreham by the Sea. He also took an active role in the movement to get rid of nuclear weapons by joining protests and marches. At this point, Stewart started performing on the streets with folk singer Wiz Jones, going to Paris and Barcelona. This continued until 1963, when he was sent back to the United States for being a vagrant. Around the middle of the 1960s, Stewart adopted the mod way of life, and his spiky rooster haircut became his signature look. He moved away from rock and roll after hearing Otis Redding perform and started to listen to rhythm and blues and soul music. Stewart's first professional music appearance was in October 1963 when he joined the rhythm and blues group The Dimensions as a harmonica player and part-time singer. He was only in the band for a short time because of problems within the group, but it exposed him to London's lively R&B scene and helped him improve his harp skills. Many people think Stewart played on Millie Small's hit song, My Boy Lollipop, but he didn't. It most likely was Peter Hogman of those sizes. His early life gave him a lot of different and difficult situations that shaped his later music career. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Rod Stewart's career took a big turn when he joined the Jeff Beck Group. He brought his unique voice to the center and helped make the band's albums, which were very influential. After Maggie May came out, his single career took off, and he became famous all over the world. Stewart was a true music star thanks to his unique mix of rock, folk, and soul music, as well as his raspy voice and charisma on stage. His ability to change over the years, trying out different types of music while keeping his own style, made him a long-term success in the music business, which is always changing. Long John Baldry found Rod Stewart playing the harmonica at Twickenham Station in January 1964. This was a big turning point in his musical life. Stewart ended up joining Baldry's band and started making money every week, £35. This was the start of his professional music career. Stewart became known as Rod the Mod because of his stylish clothes and growing musical skills, which caught the attention of people in the London music scene. He performed at the Marquee Club and made his unnamed debut recording on Up Above My Head. Stewart's goals pushed him to start a single career right away, and in August 1964, he signed with Decca Records. Even though he refused to record their popular songs and insisted on recording Sonny Boy Williamson's, his first single, Good Morning Little Schoolgirl, did not do well on the charts. After a short argument with Baldry, Stewart went out on his own and later helped start the White Soul Show Steam Packet in 1965 with Baldry and other musicians. The band opened for big bands like the Rolling Stones, but they never recorded because of problems with their contracts. Stewart joined Shotgun Express in 1966 after Steam Packet had broken up, but he became unhappy playing cover songs, so he focused on writing his own. Even though Stewart had a lot of failures and struggled to find his own voice, the things that happened to him during this time helped him create a unique musical style that made him famous. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Stewart's career took a big turn when he joined the Jeff Beck Group. His unique voice helped make the band's records very popular. His single career took off when Maggie May came out, making him famous all over the world. Stewart's raspy voice, unique mix of rock, folk, and soul, and his charismatic stage personality made him a true music legend. He was able to reinvent himself over the years by trying out different styles while keeping his own style. This has helped him be successful in the music business, in his solo career, and in his most recent projects. Rod Stewart's career took a big turn when he joined the Jeff Beck Group in February 1967. Along with Ronnie Wood, they faced many problems and had a lot of success with tours in the US and the release of the albums Truth and Beckola. However, Stewart left in 1969 because of problems within the company. It was when Stewart signed with Mercury Records in 1968 that his solo career really took off. His first record, An Old Raincoat Won't Ever Let You Down, came out in 1969 and set the tone for his unique style. Later, Stewart joined Faces and created his own sound. Hit records like Every Picture Tells a Story and Never a Dull Moment made him famous all over the world. After moving to Los Angeles in 1975, Stewart released Atlantic Crossing, which was a change in style and brought him back to the top with the hit song Sailing. Over the next few years, he put out a number of popular albums, including A Night on the Town, Footloose, and Fancy Free, which made him an even bigger star. Stewart got into a lot of trouble in 1978, but her dance hit, Die I Think I'm Sexy from the album Blondes Have More Fun made her a big star. Stewart kept changing his sound in the 1980s. Albums like Foolish Behavior and Tonight I'm Yours added new wave and synth-pop elements. He was a big business force throughout the decade, even though he got bad press for playing in South Africa during apartheid. People Get Ready, a famous cover, was made during a short meeting with Jeff Beck. Stewart's career took a new start in 1988 with the album Out of Order, which was produced by Andy Taylor and Bernard Edwards and led to hits like Lost in You and Forever Young. In 1989, his Out of Order tour brought in tens of thousands of fans, making him even more well-known. Stewart kept having success in the early 1990s with the album Vagabond Heart and hits like Rhythm of My Heart and the Motown Song. Rod Stewart became a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1994. He continued to make music with records like Human and When We Were the New Boys. He has been trying out different types of songs for the past few years. Stewart's return to writing songs was marked by the release of the record Time in February 2013. Together with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, he reworked some of his biggest hits for the 2019 record You're in My Heart. Stewart has been performing at big events lately, like the Platinum Party at Buckingham Palace in 2022. He turned down the offer to perform in Qatar because he wanted to stick to his values. Early in 2024, he will release Swing Fever, a song he wrote with Jules Holland that sounds like something new. Stewart is also getting ready for a string of live shows to promote his new record. Fans will be able to hear both new songs and old favorites. Rod Stewart has an extensive discography and a net worth close to $100 million, and he keeps proving that he is one of the best artists of all time by adapting to new audiences and captivating them. Rod Stewart is a living star who has won the hearts of millions of fans all over the world with his unique voice and captivating stage presence. With a great career that lasted for decades, he is not only a music legend, but also an example of how to stay strong and flexible over time. Stewart, who is now in his 70s, keeps making new things and exploring new areas. He does this by putting out new records and putting on exciting live shows. There is a lot of interest in him, and both pros and fans respect him. What's your favorite thing about Rod Stewart's work? What do you like best about him? Is it his great hits, his electrifying live shows, or his inspiring career path? Tell us what you think in the space below. Thanks for seeing the movie. Don't forget to click subscribe so you don't miss any exciting new material about Rod Stewart and other music legends.